Vouaghn Bryant, how do we fix the communication? There's a communication difference between each generation. How do we bridge that gap in order for us to come together and actually have dialogue that's productive, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, I would just like to say I totally appreciate being on a panel with such astute people as yourselves. And the question that you posed about the family aspect of it, and I'm 60 years old. So, I guess you would call me a baby boomer or before that or whatever you call it, and I've always tried to, when it comes to family, I've always tried to be an example to the young males in my family. When I became a certain age, and I at the time when I was younger, they had a trade school and different things like that. Now, I wasn't a great college person, but I had a very good, almost over 30 years in the medical field. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I would always try to give the younger ones, the younger males in my family, hey, this is something that you could possibly ascribe to do. You know what I'm saying? And so, they're like, yeah, whatever. And so I would try to show myself and give of myself enough to where they could see me doing it. When I first became a emergency medical technician driving the ambulance, and that was such a proud part of my life at the time. And, I would drive up to different family members' homes in the ambulance, and go whoop, whoop, and do all of that because I wanted the younger males in my family to see, hey, look what my cousin is doing. I can do that. You know what I'm saying? And so as I watched them get older and still trying to give them advice and I was in the church too at the time, you know what I'm saying? And trying to give them good advice. And, younger people are going to be the way that they are. So you just can't force everything on everybody, right. So when I changed careers, they watched that. You see what I'm saying? I went from that to become something else, like a dialysis technician. And I went from that and they still, as they got older, and believe me, some of them are the same age as you that are on the panel right now. Because I started with them when they were younger. You see what I'm saying? And they still wanted to live a certain type of lifestyle in the street. Right. I can't just snatch you off of the street. Now, here's the thing. Now that they've become older, and I'm still sharing wisdom with them, and they're still caught up in their lifestyles because I can only help you to a certain extent. After I extend my hand so much, then I have to pull my hand back and say, hey, you a grown ass man. Right. You see what I'm saying? You need to be a little more responsible for yourself and your actions. Okay, so now you have 3 baby mamas. See, this is what I was trying to teach you prior, right? But you didn't listen. And right. So these same things that I was telling them, when I speak to the younger people today, it's very offensive to them. And it's like we have these trigger words where, now I need to tiptoe over the young people in order to give them a word of wisdom. Come on. Right. Come on. I'm talking to grown ass men. Let alone the females, because of course we all know we have to deal with them differently in a different way or whatever. Kid gloves. You know what I'm saying? But since I've been on YouTube, and just recently I had a conversation with a young man who I have great respect for, and there was a definite disconnect there between me and that individual. And I look back because, sometimes when you're on these platforms, it's good for you to look back to see if, where the disconnect was. Yes. Was it me or was it them? You know what I'm saying? Correct. And so I looked at it a few times and I still couldn't figure it out. But then being on different panels after that, I got some good advice to listen a little bit more and hear, because I do understand that the things that these younger people that are going through in this present age is very much different than what I've been through when I was younger. You see what I'm saying? When I went to the club, I was listening to the whispers and, hey, it's a love thing. You see what I'm saying? That was a cut then. Nowadays, it's different. Even dating is different.
Right.
But my thing is, in order for me to bridge the gap, please don't shut me out. And I feel like I'm being shut out in a way because I can't address certain situations because, I've been married for 20 years and I can't speak to the dating situation now because I'm married. And what do I know about, these thoughts and all these things that are going on? Well, listen, Mr. Vouaghn Bryant does look at TV and read. I can see what's going on, and a lot of it is improper, a lot of it. So my thing is, and I'm gonna end right here. I just want to be in a place where I can bridge the gap, but I don't want to have to tiptoe around these grown men that I'm trying to impart wisdom to, because you're triggered by a certain word like, well, young lady, you should close your legs or whatever it is, So, and I'm traditional. I'll admit that. But I do have an open mind. I was also told in a conversation that, as long as I can draw them in, but as soon as I mention God, oh, wow, I lost them. Well, see, listen, I'm not willing to dumb down my faith because it's improper to you. Now, I don't browbeat people with what my beliefs are. But at the same time, these principles and standards are what has taken me to where I'm at right now. So why wouldn't I use that as an example? So with that, I'm going to leave that alone. And thank you, Uncle Stu and Nathan, everybody. Intentional Millionaire, Perry Unlikely. Man, I can't even believe I'm on the platform with all of you up and coming young men. Man,
you jive
this is
turkeys.
Awesome.
Listen, Voughn Bryant coming here.
I didn't say that.
Voughn Bryant coming here with the smooth words, the smooth talking. Thought this was the quiet storm for a second.
Wow.
all up on the mic for y'all.
Look at him. See, I get that all the time, but that's okay.
Smooth
Like I say, when you get older, just like Mr. Talbot to tell you, we don't have time to yell and scream at y'all.
Absolutely.
Our breath is precious to us at this point.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I could yell and tell you, go to hell. But I can also say like this, why don't you just go straight to hell?
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Save my breath.
But what you said was what I pulled from that, and I've experienced the same exact thing. The issue dealing with the other generations is the disrespect. It's the lack of respect. It's the ego. It's the pride, whether you're talking to young men or young women. Where did that come from? Again, it seems like that is leaking out from a lack of family structure, right? A lack of discipline in the household. Awesome. Lead us follow up with us on that piece. Vouaghn Bryant touched on it perfectly. He said, shoot, I want to help. I want to give wisdom, but these little nigglets ain't listening. So what do you say from that? What do you pull from that? What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Shout out to black men. It's always a pleasure anytime I get an opportunity to speak with brothers. And that's important to me. Truth be told, consequences. You see, gentlemen, there's no consequences. Consequences allow for you to grow. And when there's no consequences available, then you have what you have in our community. I want to say the truth and line, gentlemen. You see, we don't affect the bottom line. The bottom line, as you gentlemen know, is the finances. Our inability to do that has caused a major problem in our community. The LGBT community has figured it out. They have been able to leverage their dollar in order to create legislation and real power in this country way ahead of us. And I don't want to get excited. If you brothers may have seen me on my channel, I don't want to get too excited. I don't want to get upset because I want to make sure I get this message out. But that's a problem, black men. It's a problem when a community that maybe emerged probably maybe 20 or 30 years ago, they have already superseded black men. And we still figuring out how to keep unarmed black men from being killed in this country. We still haven't figured that out, but yet they figured out how to make it a hate crime if you even put your hands on it. And so we need to learn from them. We need to pay attention. That's extremely important. Black men, we must recognize that we face a common enemy. Black masculinity is under attack. And that's why on my channel I always say, shout out to all you black men, white collar brothers, blue collar brothers, street niggas. You know what it is. Always make sure, because all black men need to recognize that we are under attack. And if we don't respond, we're going to have we won't have a community. Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, black men, they have given black women millions of dollars. When have I don't know if you brothers are noticed, but JP Morgan just donated $10 billion towards black women. Black men have not received a thing in terms of reparations, in terms of anything to move us forward. It's important that our women be kept ahead of us, black men. These things are systemic. These things, and there's a reason behind this. Black men are our position. We are at the bottom of the socioeconomic pool in every category that is negative. I mean, you can't think of anything. True. We are quicker to die. We are quicker to be anything you can think of that just name it. We're at the bottom of it